All right, welcome back. As you can see, we are here in the garage. Don't mind the mess. And the mess on the ground. So today is honestly, it's been quite a while since I've done one of these. Mechanic update. So today we're gonna be. I could have done this before. I should have done this before. Um, you'll probably see it in another video. I'm not gonna say just yet what I did. It'll be another video, but when you're seeing this, hopefully it won't be too late. But yeah, today we are doing a sort of wiring mod. I've done a couple electrical mods so far, being the kickstand bypass, the clutch sensor bypass. That's also something I did a little mod back here that I'm not going to cover just yet. That's again for another video. But today we are doing the starter button and the kill switch. Because if you see my 2020 Grom build video, I kind of went over my build and my mods and what I have on it currently. And you would have noticed that I just did the tried and true nail through the kill switch to keep it in the on position. But I wanted to kind of circumvent that. Same with the starter. Not a huge deal, but I took this housing apart. I cut the wires from the starter button and the kill switch so they no longer do anything. These ones are just cosmetic at this point. But basically, we're going to strip these two sets of wires. And I believe on the Grom, at least from what I can see here, the two consistent color wires are the black with the blue stripe. So I believe that's our ground. I'm going to double check with the wiring I did back here. But I just want to prevent any blown fuses if I don't need any, if I can avoid it altogether, I will. So we're going to be wiring this up to new switches. So our new switches are just some external ones that we got from Amazon, just some cheap little ones you can get in a pack. I really like these because they are obviously versatile and they provide a lot of uses, especially for stunt bikes. A lot of people like to reroute certain things like ignitions or their starters or their kill switches, things like that. A lot of people will add one of these for their fan. Obviously a Grom doesn't need one because it's small and it's already air cooled, but for like 600cc stunt bikes, people do tend to add external fans because they run a lot hotter from doing like red line coasters or burnouts, or, rolling burnouts, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, anyways, we got that switch. That one's going to be for our kill switch, which is just going to be like kind of there just in case. And then this one, I forgot I had these, but these are little push buttons, and this is going to be serving as our starter button. So it'll just be out of the way. It's just a little thing to keep it a little cleaner, and it gets me more familiar with the electrical wiring of the bike and just doing stunt mods in general. So without further ado, let's get to it. First thing we're going to do, because I ran out of like butt connectors, as you can see I have heat shrink, so we're going to be just twisting wires together and heat shrinking it because I don't have any more butt connectors, but that's okay. That is a-okay. We're just gonna, just because I don't know the gauges of these wires, I like to go through the sort of the sizing on them and just keep checking until I get the right one. It's a simple, easy way to prevent you know, messing up and accidentally chopping too much off. So, yeah. Just like that. That's our starter wires stripped. You can see here, got the same thing. Okay, and that is all our wires stripped. So, I brought extra wire because I'm going to need it to extend the cables, because at the point where I want to put these, they need to reach, and they're just going to be extended from here, and then I'm going to zip tie them. So they're going to go along here under the handlebars, under the triple tree, onto the main frame, and then into here, and the switches are going to go right here in this little I guess plastic. This is where the ventilation goes in, I think, for the air box, but it's just empty space under here because, you know, the gas tank and the, you know, frame is there, so there's a lot of empty space. So yeah, and no, the forks and triple do not interfere with this part at all, so it is completely clear. Can't really see on this side, but if we do go full lock this way, I hope you can see it. Don't mind the wheel squeaking. The triple doesn't even connect with that plastic, so we're good. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we're gonna extend this. I'm gonna take a minute to do that. Figure out how much wire I need. So we're just going from here down to, there's got to be enough too so that I can flex and stretch when the handlebars are moved. So I think we'll just do about the length of the handlebars. I think that seems reasonable. So about here seems okay, because this is going to be going down and in. Because more is better than less. Cut that. And we're going to get 2 of these because we have 2. So we're going to get 2 at the same length. And then cut that, same deal. About there. Okay. And we should have 2 roughly similar length cables, just like that. All right, perfect. Obviously, we'll just peel these apart and then we will get them stripped and twisted together. But for the moment, we're going to do one at a time because can't be doing multiple. I will change this, or sort of, I should say upgrade it. Although, just because I don't have butt connectors, it doesn't mean anything. They're a lot simpler to use, yes, but like the best way to do it for wiring, obviously, is soldering, but I don't have the whole soldering setup, so we're not doing that. The simplest way is literally twisting wires together. So that's what we're doing. Just because I ran out of butt connectors, so. Yeah. This is 12 gauge, right? Well, this is 18 gauge. Okay, just simple wiring things. Honestly, if you're doing wiring, just in general, it doesn't really matter even what it is. Take the time, like if you have to do something electrical on your bike or on your car, it doesn't hurt to try and figure it out on your own. It really doesn't. Because all the things that I've done so far on my bikes, I've learned by just kind of doing. Or, you know, if I didn't exactly know how to start, I just kind of looked it up and tried my best to find out if somebody before me had done, you know, a similar thing. So Otherwise, then it's literally just trial and error. Like, you literally take things apart, put them back together. You know, if something breaks or, you know, stops, I guess, working, then you troubleshoot the problem by literally just doing. I need to throw heat shield over this. Not heat shield, but or heat shrink, I should say. We are going to do one for each individual, correct? Yeah, because they have to be separate. So we're going to throw, I think, these short black ones on there. We'll admit that I think this is probably the most time-consuming one, aside from probably actually soldering. Because getting the whole soldering setup can take a while, I think. But don't quote me on that, because I don't know a damn thing about soldering. So you just take the wires, twist them, obviously to make a better connection, or like so you don't have any frays. We're just gonna also twist the ones on here. Mind you, we're dealing with some fairly stiff wiring here. Okay, so that is the first connection twisted on. I'll admit the way I did it was not perfect. It's been a while since I've like twisted wires, and I just kind of had a brain fart as I was doing it. So yeah, don't do what I did and mess up. Now we're just heat shrinking it because, you know, we don't want it to be exposed to the elements, correct? Okay, and just like that, we have done our heat shrink. As I said, it's a little jank. I haven't done heat shrink in quite a while, I'll admit. I'll put some electrical tape around that too, just to be safe, and hold them together. But other than that, we have our first connection. The next ones will be much cleaner, and I need to get a new lighter because I think people have ran my lighter fairly low. When I say people, I do mean people, because I myself only use this for stuff like this. So, yeah. All right, we got our electrical tape. We're just going to tape this up. Clean up this little junction here. Okay. And that should hopefully be our kill switch done. Not done. Just wired up to the extension. So, in my experience, at least from these switches have 3 wires. One of which is the positive, the other is the negative, and one of them is for the light. Now, in my experience in doing some other mods with this, is on this particular bike, I've blown a fuse, just kind of connecting it through trial and error. So, out of caution, we're going to take a look at our previous work and see that we don't blow a fuse this time. Okay, so I've learned that it is the black wire which is the designated wire for the light. So these 2 red ones are, I believe, up to you which you want to use for the positive and the negative. So we're just going to strip these a little more so we can twist them, because as you can see, they are not very far out. For these ones, you just cut that little bit off the end so that you can strip it further, because that end does provide a good, solid connection for the one, but if we're trying to twist wires, it doesn't really work that well, if that makes sense. So, as per previous experiences, just twist this up, twist these together. Okay, so as you can see, I've done it a little differently this time. a little less jank than the previous one. I hope that I've done this correctly. So those are connected up. The only real way to test this is to get that started up and check to see if my kill switch works. So, moment of truth. Hopefully we don't blow a fuse here. I know the wires are kind of exposed, but it's on plastic. Try and keep it on the plastic. Okay, here we go. We've got the kill switch wired up, or what is supposed to be our kill switch. And I guess we're going to try it. Oh, shoot. I just realized we have no way to start it. Okay, well, let's flip it and see if it blows a fuse. It works. I forgot, the fuel pump only primes when you turn on the kill switch. So it's already in its on position. I forgot. It was in an on position when I cut it, so now it's off. Kill switch has been flipped. It's on. It works. Okay, sick. Sick. Awesome. So, we're going to turn it into the off position. The off position is with the light down. I would like to have the lights like working, but honestly at this point it doesn't really matter. Okay, kill switch is off. Alrighty. Well, that was actually honestly surprising. I completely forgot, because I've literally had this nailed through the kill switch for so long now that I forgot that the fuel pump primes when you hit when you turn the kill switch on, because having it locked in the on position, obviously when you just turn it on, the fuel pump primes on its own. So that's awesome. All right, we're gonna get that heat shrink on there, and we're gonna shrink those up so that we don't have to worry about obviously anything happening. Okay, that's one side done. Just gonna try and keep this up here out of the way. And we're gonna grab one for the other side. Alrighty. Just like that. These two are heat shrink. I don't think I have to necessarily worry. I mean, I try not to ride necessarily in like wet conditions, but we'll probably wrap some electrical tape around the ends of these just in case. This black one, I'm not too worried about. It'll kind of just dangle. It doesn't connect to anything, and it doesn't do anything. Like, it literally just powers the light on this switch specifically. So the only way I can think of to have these lit up is if I ran a power line or a power tap, I guess, from the battery, and it would just be like a free flowing, I guess, power tap, so that I could like take a wire from this black one and then tap it into that line, and then it would give power to that specifically, hopefully without blowing any fuses. Hopefully. That's all I can really think of, unless that line specifically, I put a fuse like on that line, I think that would be all right. But I don't really know. Let's see. All right. Now that we're technically done with that, we have to still put it in place and drill our holes, but I think this is okay. Honestly and truly, this might be all right. Because it's going, as I said, down. Okay, so we're just going to feed this. Obviously, I could have, I say could have, but I should have done this before I connected up the wires. But we're going to try and jam this through our very tight space down here. Hopefully not interfering with anything. Nope. Just going to feed all the wires through. Again, hopefully without disturbing anything. I'm just going to double check this still works. And I didn't mess with any connections here. Oh, the shell went behind. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Now it's just ugly and in the way. Okay, take 2 of trying to clean this up. Okay. All right, so we've got that one done and out of the way. In prep for actually putting in place. We're just going to test that still works so I didn't mess anything up. Fuel pump didn't prime. Okay, fuel pump primed. Still works. Kill switch off. On. Fuel pump prime. All right, still works. We're good. We're good. Just wanted to make sure me pulling, pushing and pulling on this a few times didn't mess with it. All righty. Our kill switch is done. That's 1. Okay, number 2 is this one. This is our starter button. This one's a bit different. It's not on a switch, but an alternate button. I haven't done this sort of button before. I bought these, and I didn't quite know what I was going to use them for. I believe I originally had an idea, but that idea never came to fruition. It could have been for this exact purpose, like just rerouting my starter, but I do not remember. I will be honest, I do not remember. So here we are in a state where we're doing it for the first time. So yeah, all right, let's get to it. We're gonna be, again, same place, same deal. This one is going to be wired extra, that same like extra length. I'm just going to take these ends off because they are just covers. And we're going to twist these up so that we have strong connections. First, we've got to put our extension on, and then we can get to the actual switch itself. So this aside for now, this we've got to split apart. Number 1 and split apart number 2. All right. And then we strip this 18 gauge wire up enough. Again, this is just some stuff I got off Amazon. Pretty much everything you see here, obviously, besides. So the switches, the wire, the heat shrink, all off of Amazon. Obviously, everything else is just personal items that I've collected. personal tools. All right, let's twist these up. Honestly, and I don't know what it is, but I have a real fascination with electrical. Like, I honestly really, I know a lot of people hate electrical, but I honestly really like it. I think it's really interesting. Like, doing your own wiring and just, honestly, I don't like wiring diagrams. I think a lot of them are a bit confusing. I'll admit. I wish they were a little easier to read, but I do really enjoy electrical. I think it's really fun, especially doing your own stuff, your own like DIY stuff like this. Like, I'm literally rerouting power to different buttons and different switches like on my own. I haven't watched a video or I haven't followed a guide or anything. I'm literally just going based off of the trial and error I did on one mod on this and some previous knowledge, which is very, very minuscule, I'll tell you. Because everything I've learned just off of like YouTube and just the internet. Like, you could literally learn everything off of there. So there's really no excuse. There really isn't. All right, we're going to throw the heat shrinks on this first. We used these ones last time, I believe. So, actually, hold on. I need to do this a little cleaner first. We can do the heat shrinks after. So I made this mistake with the other one. I'm going to take this, give me the negative, and try and get the positive out of the way. Trying to get it to a point where I can twist them cleanly. Okay, that works. I could have stripped off a little more on the black and blue side, but that's okay. That is A-okay. And then we're going to do the positive, which hopefully shouldn't give me too much trouble. And not the cleanest in the world, but it's okay. It'll do. It will do. We're going to get the big yellow ones out again. I think we're going to cut these in half, just because those ones are a little shorter. Actually, I can just take one and cut it in half. All right. We're going to grab our torch. Put one on. Okay, cool. So I don't want to make sure we don't burn it. Lose our connections, because that would not be ideal. So I don't want to come back in here and redo connections or anything like that. Again, I would have been much happier doing butt connectors because they are a lot simpler, but we don't have that luxury right now. I'm overdoing it a little bit, I'll admit, but it's okay. It's okay. All right, those ones are connected. Now it is time to connect up our switch here. Alrighty, let's get this one wired up. Actually, before we do that, let's get this funneled down into where I want it to go first before we do all that, because I don't want to be fishing more wire than I need to be. All right, got that fished into there. Just gonna make sure that's at length. These are nice and solid now. Obviously, we're just gonna connect those, cover those with some electrical tape. Same with the other one. I know there is a tool, as far as I remember, that basically does this for you. Like, does the twists and everything. Like, it's a small tool, like an electric tool that you just kind of put them both in there and it kind of twists them together. Pretty sure it's an electrician's tool. but I don't quite remember. I do not remember. I'm just going to use another yellow, cut it in half, just because this will work just fine. Looks like little pastas, little pasta noodles. I like that. I need my torch again. Can't do this without my torch. And I would like to remind people that it is very cold. Now, it's unfortunately, even though it's not riding season anymore, I mean, I'll still go out like if it's reasonable, like street conditions, but most of the time my lots are covered in snow, so it's not ideal. It's not ideal at all. So it becomes very hard to practice and get our seat time in, unfortunately. So our little pastas are done. Everything is wired up. I should have, before I put those heat shrinks on, checked to see if it actually started. But, moment of truth. I connected the black to the black, the red to the red. Or I guess let's just say the red to the yellow, because the positive up here is yellow and red. But anyways, all right, moment of truth. Here we go. All right, kill switch on. Fuel pump priming. Fuel pump primed. Here we go. Ooh. That's not good. It's starting, but it's not staying on. Problem? Okay. Okay. We got it on, but I had to give it some gas. Maybe it's because it's cold and it's been a while, but it has been a while since it's been started. And it has been very cold recently, so. I don't want it to be hopefully problematic. I don't want it to be that. Because there is literally only 2 wires in the starter button. So, yeah. Alright. I think all it was is because it was cold. And it hasn't been started since it dropped below freezing and whatnot. But it sounds fine. It's started on its own now. So that's good. Alright, let's go. We did it. Now the only thing left, hold on, and I'll give it one more start just because. The only thing left to do is now route our wires or drill our holes in the plastic. I don't want to start it too much and leave it too long because obviously the garage is closed, but we'll air it out after. You'll see that we're going to be drilling our holes down in, again, this spot here, which will be out of the way. And there, again, there's nothing under here. It is all just open space. So there's no need to worry about any wires or anything getting in the way. So yeah, I'm gonna get the drill set up and we'll get to it. We're gonna start it one more time just to make sure it's still good. Yeah, look at that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Again, I was a little worried at first, but it's just, my baby is just cold. She's just cold. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't worry. I'll get you a little ride one of these days. I promise. Get you a little ride one of these days. All right. Cool. All right, we're good. Okay, now I'm going to get the drill set up. All right, so we've got our drill chucked up with the 5/8 sort of hole bit, and this is what I used for the other switch, but I'm gonna have to find one a little smaller for this button, for the starter button, but this is what we're using for our kill switch. And we're gonna throw the kill switch, I'm thinking, on the inside. Okay, there's the bit of plastic there. Just want to make sure I didn't lose it inside. Alrighty then. I'm now realizing that I'm going to have to try and disconnect these. All right. Well, unfortunately, my GoPro camera battery did die, which is whatever, but it's okay. I have since finished it. I didn't really have too much left, to be honest. I was just kind of mounting the buttons and switches. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to show you it now, but it is done. It's it's done. So as you know, most stunt bikes, I guess like bigger stunt bikes, like 600cc ones, typically when somebody does a button reroute to like a new switch, typically they put it like on the, as well, I say typically, from the ones I've seen, they put the button or switch on the little fairing piece that is next to the forks. So as we don't have that on the Grom, obviously you've seen that I was going to do it on these bits. So I did that. As you can see, if we look closely, you can see the switch here. That's our kill switch. We're just going to be leaving that in the on position anyway, just for convenience sake. And then we have our starter button. Again, it's out of the way. It's, you know, just a little convenience thing. I didn't have to reroute the starter button, but it just makes it a little more clean, if you will. Like, that doesn't accidentally get bumped by anything. It's completely clear. All the wiring is not under tension at all. It has more than enough slack in both directions, which is really good. And yeah, other than, I mean, just having to redo some twisting and heat shrinking, it was fairly easy. It was fairly easy. But yeah, as you can see, it's a fairly simple job from start to finish. I mean, it's just electrical. It's really not that bad when you get into it. Like, it's really not that bad. So I had some dangling wire. Obviously, I zip tied it to the handlebars just to get it out of the way. So if we turn our key, fuel pump didn't prime because kill switch is on. So we hit it, kill switch. There we go. And then boom! Look at that. Absolutely mint. Absolutely mint. Alrighty. That's it. That is the switch rerouting episode of Mechanic Update. Anyways, yeah, we were just rerouting our kill switch and our starter button. But I'm happy with the way it's turned out. I am. Because once I do actually, upgrade from the Grom stunt bike to a full-size stunt bike, doing this will just be all that much easier, because I'm not buying a already stunted out bike. I just think that's not a good idea. Plus, I would like to build it my own way, as I've built my Grom, from stock to stunt. I've, changed things and tweaked things to how I like them, as time has went on. As you've seen pretty much the whole process, right? of me switching the bars and adjusting the bars and, putting the rear sits on and taking the passenger pegs off just recently. Doing some of the electrical modifications that I like, right? And, the clutch springs, how I only have 3 out of the 6 that are 60%, right? And the gearing ratio, even, which is 14 in the front and 40 in the back. Like, it's all just those things that you sort of get to do when you do build your own stunt bike and you don't just buy one that's already built. You know what I mean? So, just one of those things, but I can't wait to actually build a full-size stunt bike. I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be a great time. I absolutely love my Grom. I don't think I will ever sell it. Like, I have no reason to. I have just such a connection to this bike. I have spent probably I don't want to say the most time on this bike, but it's going to be probably the most time coming up next season. So, yeah. Anyways, as always, I appreciate you guys for hanging out. And with that being said, I'm done.